Hello and welcome to the Talk with Tariro. We are in the festive season, continuing with our celebration episodes where we commemorate the festive season, where we know everyone is actually in a happy mood. And this is the time that we bring you our different personalities in Zimbabwe so that we get to understand them more. And on the show today, we have gone a notch higher and brought to you a fashion designer, Ishmael Tsakaza, who has recently lifted the Zimbabwean flag high in France at a fashion whatever. He is going to tell us more about that. Ishmael, welcome to the talk.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Who is Ishmael?
Ishmael is a 29-year-old gentleman who is a fashion designer, who is like the creative director for the brand Zaguja. Mm-hmm. I'm also a holder in physiotherapy. I have a degree an honors degree in physiotherapy as well.
Mm-hmm. So why did you leave physiotherapy to go onto fashion designing? What pushed you to that field?
Well, from a tender age, I always had a passion for fashion. So since my primary school days in home economics, I was actually one of the best in my class. And then I was just taking it as a hobby, the designing thing, the arts and crafts. Even at high school, after I finished my A-levels, I was just doing it as a hobby. I went to college, I was still doing it as a hobby and as a side business later on. So I was doing both. And then after I graduated, after working for quite a bit, I then decided to, okay, fine, let me just pursue my dreams and focus on fashion.
Yeah. So how has been your fashion journey?
Okay, my fashion journey has been quite something that is probably different from other designers who actually went to school to study for it. Whereas for me, I'm a self-taught designer. So my fashion journey started in 2012 when I exhibited at the Midlands Agricultural Show, and I was awarded an exhibition award and the Home Industry Award in tailoring and fashion design. And then 2012 again, I entered the Young Designers Competition at Zimbabwe Fashion Week. I didn't win though, but I didn't give up. 2013, I showcased again at Castle Tankard. I won an award there. 2014 at Zimbabwe Fashion Week, I was awarded the Design of the Year. Fast forward to 2015, I also got awarded a Future Africa Leaders Award in Nigeria.
Wow.
2016, some numerous awards. I can't say all of them. 2015 as well. Another award came, an Entrepreneurship Award from the Vice Chancellor of the University of Zimbabwe.
Wow.
Yes. And 2016, there were numerous nominations for me. One of them was by Style Oracle. And then 2017 again, I participated at the Swahili Fashion Week in Tanzania. I also participated in Mozambique Fashion Week. 2019, South Africa, I participated at Soweto Fashion Week. Then 2020, I participated at Fashion Without Borders, Botswana, which was a digital show actually because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And then 2021, I was at Paris Fashion Week. Yes.
Interesting, because really when we're looking at this whole journey, we can actually see how you have actually put Zimbabwe on the map. And oftentimes people don't get to know what is happening. You said the second fashion, whatever that you went into, you didn't win. And you said, but I never gave up.
Yes.
How did you have that fighting spirit, which then now when you're looking at you and seeing all the achievements, because there's someone actually who is almost at a point of giving up, but can learn something from you?
Yes. I always believed in myself that I have something to offer to the world. And if, regardless of the challenges that I would face, I would pursue my vision, you know. So along the way, you face different obstacles, you know, people would discourage you. At times, people wouldn't really understand what you're doing. At first, my parents were like, are you sure you want to do designing? You want to do tailoring?
Yes.
Focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Go to medical school, get your degree? And I was like, yes, it's fine. I'll do both. But they weren't really quite sure because I was still starting. So as time went by, they saw the workshops that I attended, the shows that I did, the exhibitions that I did, the news articles, the awards that started coming. And then they were like, oh yeah, I think he is good. Let's encourage him. Let's support him. And from there, they started supporting every step that I took. And also meeting other designers, these other people that have made it, our local designers, for example, Joyce Chimani, it actually encouraged me, like, you know, they started from somewhere.
Yes.
So for me, I also started from somewhere, and I said, you know what, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
I'll continue pushing barriers, pushing boundaries.
Yes.
And until I finally made it to Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah. And Ishmael, one issue of you having a degree in physiotherapy honors and then you pursuing fashion designing. We know with a lot of parents, passion versus what we tend to think this is the profession that everybody should focus on. And when we're looking at fashion designing, even those who are into music, it's looked at as this other thing we should, but you pursued that. Maybe what would you say in terms of just having someone follow their passion versus maybe an academic, following an academic pathway? If you studied psychology, then you have to do that. If you studied what, you follow that.
Yes. It's not always the case. One thing that I understand and believe in is that a man's talent or abilities will open up doors for him and will make him stand before kings and great men.
Yes.
So everybody should be able to pursue their talent, their abilities, their passion, because passion puts you forward.
Yes.
In as much as we may study for certain degrees and other things, you may not excel as much as you would doing something that you're passionate about, doing something that drives you every day. You wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm doing this A, B, C, D, E, and continue moving forward. So passion is one of the fuels for actually excelling in life. Yes.
Indeed, passion is one of the fuels for one to excel in life. What a powerful message. Join us after the break. Welcome back. We'll continue with our discussion. And on the show, like I said before, we have Ishmael Sagasa, a fashion designer. Ishmael, as we continue with our program, from your own experience, we would want to find out how does the Zimbabwean fashion industry fare with other countries? And we at the Zimbabwe Fashion Week, like what we've heard in other countries, where there's a fashion week, how is our own industry?
Our own industry is fairly growing and still developing. We have different exhibitions and shows here and there. We used to have Zim Fashion Week, but now at the moment it's not there. So as opposed to the other countries, they take fashion seriously, and for other people it's actually an industry that employs a lot of people. We're looking at stylists, makeup, hair, and that different criteria. And then here in Zimbabwe, we're still yet to develop to be using those high-tech machinery when it comes to manufacturing and production. Also, there aren't really many fashion designers who are like bold enough to take that step to actually compete on different international platforms, mainly because challenges with resources, and as well as the fact that we don't really have many fashion mentors here in Zimbabwe. So it's fairly growing, but all I can say is definitely in the future it will be one of the leading industries in Africa and the world at large.
Yeah. And what one person might want to know is, does it pay well to be a fashion designer in Zimbabwe? You know, when we're looking at other countries, you see someone saying, I'm going to this event dressed by so and so, going to this event dressed by so and so. In Zim, have we caught up to that?
Yes, people are still catching up, but now a lot of people actually dress up for events, for our red carpets events or award ceremonies. People actually come, and because people are getting to understand that bespoke clothing is different from ready-to-wear fashion that you can easily get off the rail in any boutique, because of the time that is invested in creating a garment, be it the beadwork, the embellishments, the pattern making, from the sketching, the drafting, the selection of fabrics, the consultation, all those things come into play, and people are actually getting to accept that kind of lifestyle, where for an event you have to wear maybe a local product that is custom made, as opposed to like maybe importing from China or other countries. And for the designers that are actually doing that kind of work, it's actually paying, because every now and then people have weddings, people always have birthday parties, people always have graduation ceremonies, people always have something somewhere to attend. So it actually pays. Then it also, when it comes to how much you make, it also comes to the factors that what sort of type of clothing are you into, because one can decide to focus more on the ready to wear, like your everyday normal way, where you produce maybe we mass produce either blouses, skirts or dresses, put them in shops or in retail, or you can do the high fashion one, the bespoke one, where every garment is custom made to order to a specific client. Yes.
Okay. So when we are looking at other countries, would you say when they are looking at Zim, they say, no, when it comes to fashion designing, Zim is competition to us?
With the other,
we are still like babies when it comes.
We are still babies, and we have a lot of catching up to do.
So what do we do to catch up?
Okay, the first thing, here in Zimbabwe, we have a lot of creatives, people with great talent, but then the thing is they don't have funding, they don't have resources, so what they can do is limited. Because of that, you definitely want to encourage people to venture into investing in fashion designers and in the Zimbabwean fashion industry, because if you look back in the years 2008, 2007, there was a regression in the clothing and manufacturing sector, where we saw a lot of manufacturing companies closing down, and the industry was sort of like at a halt. So we definitely need revival of the fashion industry, and it's very important also to be investing in such.
And when you are looking at people don't have maybe sponsors, investors who would need to come in, say somebody is actually watching us and is saying, okay, I might be interested in getting into that. How do they come in? What's the entry point in terms of that? Is it a designer who has to approach somebody, or it's actually somebody who then say, I need to set up this particular enterprise? Or
it can go both ways. Designers can approach either potential sponsors or companies that they can partner with or do collaborations. And at times, someone who would want to start something in fashion, they can even look for designers who can actually help it with the structuring of how things would work, either be consultation, fashion forecasting of like the current trends, what needs to be done, and the likes. So it can go both ways.
So when we're looking at Ishmael, what have been your successes?
Okay, my successes, the recent success of mine was being the very first Zimbabwean fashion designer to showcase in Paris. Paris is, I can say, it's every designer's dream to showcase in Paris, and not everyone gets that opportunity. Even some of the established designers in other countries who are good, they don't even have the opportunity to be invited at such a prestigious platform. And my other successes were obviously launching my own fashion brand from my own savings and pocket money while I was still in college. It's I can say it's something to be proud of. And as well as the way that I've been able to inspire some other young fashion designers who are following in my footsteps and making it big.
We will continue with our discussion after this break, and I'm sure if somebody who's got a knack for fashion, there is a lot that we are learning from Ishmael. Join us after the break. Welcome back. We continue with our discussion on the Talk with Tariro. So Ishmael, when we are looking at your journey, what have been the challenges? Yes, before the break we heard about the successes.
Okay, the challenges that I've been having was, juggling both designing and school. Because I started designing whilst I was still in school. So in college, you have to balance your studies. You also have to balance your designing part. And it was quite something difficult to do, but I had to maneuver my way out. The other challenge was, since, when you're still growing as a designer, you don't really get much of funding or sponsorship. Some of those things you have to do it from your own pocket, and I had to do that from my own pocket monies. For, when you exhibit at different shows or markets, there are certain registration fees that you pay, and all those things I had to do it from my own pocket, and that was one of the main challenges that I used to have. And also the other challenges was when you actually starting out, you actually have to identify your target market. Initially, when I was starting off, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to focus on when it comes to fashion, but then later on I then discovered I need to focus more on high fashion because that was what I was really good at. Yes. And the other challenge is, you face a lot of disappointments. People will discourage you. They'll be like, you won't really go far. And most of the time, you actually have to put yourself together and tell yourself, you know what, I can do it. Yes.
Okay. And now let's go on to that big achievement, which you spoke about in the second segment. You being at the
Paris Fashion Week.
Which you said even big designers, they desire to get there, but they have not been. And you being there representing our country, making us proud. I remember reading about it in the newspapers and just saying, go, son of the soil. How did that go?
First of all, I was scouted by an international fashion agency that actually started following me, and they submitted my portfolio, and long story short, I was invited to Paris Fashion Week. So So the Paris Fashion Week for September was a show where I was showcasing my spring-summer collection for the year 2021, year 2022. And the collection was called Stones of Fire. It was mainly a collection that was inspired by how humans have got the innate ability to overcome challenges and circumstances regardless of the obstacles they face. One has to pursue their vision with courage and determination. So that was basically the collection that I showcased. It was a women's wear collection, and people, they were actually surprised that Zimbabwe can actually do this. Yes. Zimbabwe is not really known for fashion, but it was it was a wonder to them as well. And the other fact that I also got the opportunity to display our national fabric on such a global platform, because many people don't really know about the cultural heritage of Zimbabwe, and it was an opportunity for us to share with the world our heritage and culture.
Yes. And looking at them, people being in shock and all, would you then say maybe where they are now placing us is different from how they used to look at us when it comes to fashion after seeing your designs?
Yes, definitely. After seeing my designs at Paris Fashion Week, the Zimbabwean fashion narrative changed. Yes, they actually identified that, you know what, in Zimbabwe there is talent that can compete on a global platform. Yes.
And what can we then look forward to in the future, having had Ishmael attending the iconic Paris Fashion Week? This now sets the bar high. You can't even go nowhere. So what can we expect in future? Maybe New York Fashion Week, which is higher. New York Fashion Week,
Paris Fashion Week is like yes, but both Paris, New York Fashion Week and London are the major fashion platforms.
Yes. So what can we expect in future?
Definitely in the future, we're going to be participating in more international fashion platforms, and definitely pushing the Zimbabwean products out there to the European market, the Asian market. Zimbabwe is going global, I can say, and definitely other designers as well will be coming up, showing at different platforms to just create that presence on the international fashion space. Yeah, so we're also looking forward to more collaboration with different international organizations, companies, and platforms as well.
So there might be somebody who's watching you and they are saying, I'm actually interested in fashion. I'm interested in fashion design, but I don't know how to even start. Where do they start? You say there are no schools here. Where would they say maybe you can go there? It's maybe fashion design in Form 1, Form 2, up to Form 6. I don't know whether tertiary there's still that. So where does someone begin for them to be like you?
Okay, for them to be like me, first of all, you need the passion, right? And you also need education as well, so that you know how things work. So obviously in high school there are fashion design subjects, fashion and fabrics, and in tertiary education you can go to Chinoy University. It offers also a fashion designing program. Also at polytechnics they also offer those design programs as well, so that you start from somewhere, you get understanding of how things work, and from there you now need to identify what you want to focus on, right? And you start building on that. Look for someone to actually be your mentor, give you ideas. Then you also have to take advantage of the exhibitions that will be going on. It can be exhibiting your product at Midlands Agricultural Show or the Harare Agricultural Show, Trade Fair, or even HIFA. HIFA you normally use to create platforms for upcoming designers to showcase their work. So you start from there, and from there then
then the sky is the limit.
Yes.
Okay, what is your festive message to Zimbabweans?
My festive message will be stay safe, have fun, stay fashionable, don't be afraid to experiment with color, show up and dress up in style.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, we know festive season, there are those parties, many events happening. He is saying show up and show up in style. And on the talk, we are saying as much as we're going to have fun, let's also have fun in a responsible way. Happy festive season.